late May and June of 1970, some 47 years ago, at least 1/3 of the higher educational institutions had demonstrations on their campuses. We were mired down in a war in Vietnam that seemed endless, and then the decision was made to go into Cambodia. With the accompanying recognition that Vietnam was largely fought by African Americans and minority groups, and there was a complete injustice in that. Young people were saying, we've got to express ourselves in a more extreme way than just a simple protest.
In 1970, President Richard Nixon asked former Pennsylvania Governor William Scranton to chair a committee investigating expanding unrest on America's college campuses, incidents which turned violent in Ohio, Mississippi, and Kansas.
In Kent State, 4 students were killed, and in Jackson State, 2 students were killed as a result of demonstrations and calling in authorities. The third university was the University of Kansas. 2 students had been killed there, but it was after the end of the school year, so it didn't get the national attention and focus that both Kent and Jackson got. We have to identify what unrest means.
The younger periods of your life is when you should be most hopeful and most ambitious to have changes made that you think are right.
Most student unrest is permissive. It's agitation for causes that are maybe at variance with other members of the university community. That kind of unrest is something that a university encourages in a civil and responsible way. The other unrest, of course, is violence.
I defy anyone with any kind of a heart to go up on that hill in Kent State and look and see where that girl is kneeling over that dead boy and realize that there were those National Guard people with their guns up here and the students throwing rocks down there. And as you know, 4 of them were killed.
Governor Scranton was known as a committed public servant, and he was known, although he had an identification of a partisan nature, he was viewed in his public realm as nonpartisan. I would say that the president did not enthusiastically accept the report. The most interesting findings of the commission were the challenge to the president. They said the moral responsibility of leadership in this country starts with the president, and the president must take a more active role in terms of recognizing troublesome conditions at the time. One was the war in Vietnam. There had to be a resolution to that. And the second was the social injustice in this country. There had to be a more forceful leadership from the presidency in terms of accomplishing true equality. We're still working through with that.